You've made it far on this journey. You've moved through the cosmic prophecies, the echoes of Atlantis, the fires of self-transformation, and the sacred alchemy of becoming. But now, something deeper calls, not outward, inward. Welcome to the next threshold, the temple. This isn't a structure built of sandstone and shadow. It is not a monument to history, but to consciousness. In ancient Egypt, only the initiated could pass into the inner sanctum, the most sacred space where mystery met mind. But in this age, no gatekeeper bars the way. The only password is presence. The temple is symbolic, not of religion, but of realization. It is the awakened mind, the clarified heart, the purified soul. And in the teachings of Thoth, we're reminded, this path was never about worshipping from the outside. It was about remembering from within. Today, we enter the temple not as tourists of myth, but as initiates of truth. And what awaits inside is the light you've always carried. The temples of ancient Egypt weren't just marvels of stone, they were blueprints, living blueprints of the human soul. Every pillar, every symbol, every chamber held meaning beyond the material. Thoth, the great architect of wisdom, encoded within them a sacred geometry, a mirror for those ready to look inward, because the true temple has never been made of limestone or gold. It's made of light and consciousness. It is you. Your body is the outer wall, your breath, the sacred wind, your mind, the inner sanctum, and the flame of awareness that burns within. That is the living presence of the divine. The emerald tablets whisper this truth again and again. The physical world is a symbol. The journey of the initiate is not across deserts, but through the landscapes of their own mind and heart. Just as initiates once passed through gates and veils in stone temples, today's seeker passes through beliefs, fears, and illusions, each one a threshold to be crossed. The Ankh is not just a symbol of life. It is a reminder of the eternal spark within you. The Eye of Horus is not just protection, it is a call to inner sight. The pyramid is not just a tomb, it is a map for spiritual ascent. Thoth's teachings remind us that sacred space is not about geography, it's about alignment, and initiation does not require robes or rituals, it requires honesty, humility, and the willingness to let go of what no longer serves. The path inward is the path upward. The temple is not something we enter, it is something we become. What if the holiest altar was not built from stone, but shaped in silence within your mind? Thoth's teachings reveal a timeless truth. The temple is consciousness, and every thought you think is a prayer echoing through its halls. In ancient temples, the outer chambers were ornate, grand pillars, sacred inscriptions, veiled mysteries, but only the most disciplined, the most attuned, were allowed into the inner sanctum. Why? Because the inner sanctum held the purest energy. It was where the divine and human met, not in spectacle, but in stillness. Thoth teaches that you are no different. Your outer world may be filled with movement, sound, distraction, but at the center of your being is a still, sacred space, a space untouched by fear, beyond thought, beyond time. To enter it is to awaken. Most people live unaware that their thoughts shape their reality, but the initiate learns every thought is architecture. Each time you think with fear, you reinforce the outer walls. Each time you think with love, you carve a doorway into light. Thoughts are not random. They are spells, shaping energy, commanding form, creating resonance. Thoth says, thoughts are living things. They travel, they build, they destroy, they heal. And so the question becomes, what prayers are you whispering in the temple of your mind? Are they thoughts of alignment or of distortion? Are they invocations of clarity or confusion? Are they sacred or scattered? The initiate becomes the guardian of their inner temple, not to control thought, but to refine it, to align each word, each idea, each intention with truth. Because in the temple of mind, thought is not just mental, it is energetic, and energy responds. Thoth speaks often in spirals, in patterns, in sacred rhythms. The awakened mind is not linear, it is spiral. It revisits lessons, not to repeat them, but to refine them. It does not race toward truth, it unfolds toward it. The unawakened mind seeks control, it fears silence. It clings to logic as the only source of truth. But the temple mind knows, wisdom is not loud, it is subtle, spacious, sacred. To walk as an initiate means to honor this space, to choose your thoughts as deliberately as you would a ritual, to pause before speaking, to align before acting, to question before reacting. This is the new priesthood, not one of dogma, but of discernment. Thoth doesn't ask you to build a temple, he reminds you, you are one, and the most powerful rituals happen within. Each time you return to your breath, you open the doors. Each time you replace fear with clarity, you relight the flame. Each time you choose stillness over reaction, you polish the mirror. You don't need robes, you don't need titles. You only need willingness. Because the temple does not need permission to be entered, it only needs your attention. So today, pause, breathe, re-enter your temple, and let every thought become a prayer, every intention a key. You are not separate from the sacred, you are the sacred, remembering itself. If the mind is a temple, then thought is its light, and consciousness is the current that flows through it. But Thoth taught that this temple is not passive, it is alive, responsive, intelligent, and when you learn to work with it, not as a prisoner of thought, but as a master of vibration, you activate the ancient technologies that have always lived within you. These tools are not mechanical, they are spiritual instruments, coded into the very design of human consciousness. They are subtle but powerful, invisible, yet more real than stone. In ancient symbolism, the staff represents command, authority, alignment. And in the realm of thought, that staff is focus. Thoth says, where the attention goes, energy flows. This is not metaphor, it is law. The initiate learns that scattered thoughts scatter power, but focused thought becomes a current, able to direct, to heal, to manifest. Every time you choose where your attention goes, you are holding the staff, and with it, you either open the gates of clarity or feed the illusions that bind you. Focus is not intensity, it is devotion, a return, a remembering, a presence so whole it calls the universe into order. Thoth reminds us, all is vibration. The universe is not built from things, but from frequencies, patterns, pulses, waves of potential, and thought is no exception. Every word you speak, every belief you repeat, sends out a frequency. These frequencies do not vanish, they gather, they ripple, they attract like unto like. In this way, vibration is a mirror, reflecting back the resonance you hold within. This is why Thoth warns, speak not of light to the dark. It is not judgment, it is wisdom, that frequency must be matched to be received. The awakened initiate no longer asks, is this thought true? They ask, is this thought resonant with who I am becoming? To guard your vibration is to guard your future. What you see in your mind's eye becomes the architecture of what you create. Visualization is not imagination in the childish sense, it is pre-creation, the energetic sculpting of reality. Thoth taught his initiates to visualize with intention, not fantasy, but frequency, not control, but collaboration with the divine pattern. When you visualize yourself aligned, when you see healing, or clarity, or purpose, you are not pretending, you are aligning with the deeper truth of what is already possible. The more clearly you see within, the more faithfully life reflects without. The Emerald Tablets say, words are powerful beyond knowing. They are tools of creation or destruction. To speak is to cast, to affirm is to shape, to declare is to direct. The unawakened speak carelessly, repeating stories of limitation, struggle, and fear. But the initiate speaks with reverence. They know that the tongue is the wand and the voice a tuning fork. When you say, "I am," you invoke the deepest law of identity. What follows those words becomes a decree. Choose them wisely. Of all the tools Thoth offers, stillness is perhaps the most profound and the most overlooked. Stillness is not the absence of thought, it is the presence of presence. It is the sacred pause between breaths, the space between words, the silence where the divine speaks. In stillness, the initiate remembers that they are not the mind, but the one who watches it. Not the thoughts, but the light behind them. From this space, all things are possible, because here you are not reacting, you are choosing, and choice is power. You may read these and feel a spark of recognition. That is not coincidence, because these are not foreign practices, they are codes embedded in your soul. You've used them before, perhaps in another life, another form, another time. They are the sacred inheritance of consciousness itself. And as you awaken, you remember. You remember that focus is sacred, that vibration is your signature, that your words matter, that what you visualize has weight, and that stillness is the doorway to all of it. Thoth never asks you to worship him. He asks you to remember yourself, to pick up the tools that have always been yours, to return to the temple, and from within its silent halls, to create again. You've journeyed through the ancient halls of wisdom, from the fall of Atlantis to the fire of rebirth, from the halls of Amenti to the sacred temple of the mind. But if this series has shown you anything, let it be this. The emerald tablets were never just a relic of the past. They are a mirror for the present, and a key for your future. You are not just a student of these mysteries. You are a living expression of them. You are the one the texts were waiting for. The seeker who now sees, the initiate who now remembers. And now you are invited to take this further. Return to the tablets, not with your intellect alone, but with the resonance of your soul. Bring these truths into practice, through your thoughts, your choices, your breath, your presence. And above all, let them transform how you see yourself, not as separate from the divine, but as a spark of it. If this journey has stirred something within you, you are not alone. This is the beginning of a greater unfolding, and you're in the right place. Subscribe to continue walking this sacred path with us. Share this series with others who feel the call. And know, you are the temple, you are the initiate, and the light you seek has always been inside.